What is up, guys? Welcome to Diggity, a video game podcast. After 2 weeks, baby, of not having our usual gig, our usual schedule of doing this, we are back. We are fucking sexier than ever, baby. I'm stoked. It's gonna be great. We've got some gaming news here and there. Obviously, we're kicking off the new year, so stuff gets a little bit all over the place. We get some smaller stuff, and then we get some questions, and I'm sure, as always, it'll lead into some random banter, because that's what we do here. That's what we do real well, too. It's an art. Yeah. It's definitely an art. So,
we're certainly good at the random banter. We got that down pat.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm wearing a Notre Dame hat. Yes, they got their assholes kicked in by Alabama. I get it. I get it. Moving on, though, this is episode numero 193, 192, 193. 192. I can't believe I fucked that up because we literally just talked about that.
I just told you.
Yeah, you just told me, which is fantastic. So episode 192. If this is your first time listening to Diggity, we are a weekly video game podcast. Our episodes go live every morning, the butt crack of dawn, on every Friday morning. Might I add, not every morning. Good Lord, it's hard getting back into this after you take the breaky break. Oh my gosh, we gotta
find our groove again.
Yeah, dude.
So it's just a one episode groove finding type of thing.
If it's
as
not
I
sent
smack
help.
my mic.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Let me talk with my hands with this new stand.
Yeah,
I got a whole different setup. Everything's different. I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 3. Anyways,
back to basics.
Every single Friday, we upload an episode of the Butt Crack of Dawn so that you can listen to it on your commute, whether it's to your desk or in your car. Your desk being in your living room during these crazy times. And we talk about the latest and greatest video game news, give our opinions on games, give reviews as well, talk honesty, and talk blunt as could be on video games. So if it's first time listening, hit the little subscribe button on the platform. You can also find us on any single podcast platform. Gonna be bold and just say that we're everywhere, because we're so many places. Just going to go ahead and say it. Also, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Diggity Podcast. Without further ado, my friend, you getting back into this? You want to roll into the old what games been playing?
I've been playing some Persona 5 Royal, trying to get through that. I kind of took a little bit of a break. I'm back, and I'm loving every second of it. I've been playing a little bit of Cold War, not too much. I've kind of gotten back into Rocket League. Something Fierce. Played quite a bit of Rocket League over. Something Fierce, huh? And then I tried a new game, and it's called Trailmakers. It's not actually new. It came out in like 2018. It's new to me, which is kind of like this Lego-esque type game where you're building different cars to complete different challenges and gather things, and it's neat. It's a kind of a different style game than what I'm used to playing. And
you were saying it was like super cool to play. Like you were having a blast with it from what you were telling me.
Don't think it would be very fun to play on a controller because you're actually like building these cars and stuff. Like mouse and keyboard is certainly the way to go, but it's on Xbox Game Pass, so that's how I was playing it. Hopped on the terrible PC app.
I just realized how shitty my background looks right now.
It's
look at this.
It's fine.
Pile of pillows and a hoodie. What's on the
floor? It's too late to change it now.
It's a cup.
I see a cup, maybe some socks, and a remote.
Wife's gonna be pissed.
But what have you been playing?
Dude, I dipped into so much stuff in these past 2 weeks. I've hopped on everything and all over the place.
I feel like I left a lot of things out, but that was kind of my short list.
I'll talk on kind of like the most time I put into stuff. So I played a lot of Cold War with you guys. We played some Warzone here and there, which is all right.
I guess that has been 3 weeks.
yeah, technically, on this. And then I played Madden 21. Boy, the face of the franchise campaign, that is cringe. And I played some NHL 21. That was good. Enjoyed it. Both are still the PS4 versions of the game, though. So it's like I don't have the PS5 version yet of them.
Yeah. Hopefully that's coming.
I know.
soon?
I haven't Googled that. I've been wanting to Google it and figure out like when those are coming out, but just haven't got around to it. So played those. I played God, dude, holy crap. I beat a bunch of shit and I totally forget. I played
God of War.
Yeah, I got more into God of War. I started I played some Fall Guys. I played some Cyberpunk. I played Switch. So I played oh
That was just one console.
Holy shit, dude. It's crazy. I mean, I this is probably, and I'm sure it's because of COVID, because typically around like Christmas time stuff, I'm going back up to like Canada, right? To see family. But I played so much games like this break that it was just, I mean, it was good. I was stunned at myself of how much I was able to sit down and just play a game.
It's nice to have that little break where you can actually sit down and just
I
grind
played
away.
Ni no Kuni on Switch for a bit, and I played a total of 10 minutes of Ring Fit Adventure.
Nice.
Yeah, so the wife loves it. It's cool. I dig it.
It is cool.
I like it. It's kind of neat how it. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had it or not. Yeah, I mean, it's cool how it works and like the levels and all that kind of stuff. It seems a little bit repetitive, but it's a workout game. I mean, it kind of has to be.
Yeah, I mean, workouts are typically pretty
the same shit,
repetitive too.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So, but yeah, I had a good time. Played a lot of games, and just kind of looking forward to this. These games having the PS5 versions of the game, so I can experience what my console can do.
That'll be nice.
Concept. Yeah,
that'd be very nice one day.
Yeah, one of these days. So
yeah, is that your exhaustive list there? You good?
Yeah, I'm sure there's shit.
I didn't want to cut you off.
I'm sure there's shit that I forgot, dude. Yeah, but yeah, that's it. So do you want to hit us up with the upcoming games before we jump into some news? Cool.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot here, but January 8th, you can get Iron Conflict on PC. January 11th, you can get Glyph on Switch. January 12th, you can get King Arthur Knight's Tale on PC. And January 13th, you can get Scaleboy Refractured on PC. And January 14th, you can get MXGP 2021 on PS5.
Damn, son. Yeah, you and I were talking about this, and it's crazy because it's like it's so dead in video game news. Certainly not dead in news.
Yeah,
good lord.
Holy hell!
But and we both sat there and we're like, why not release something during this date when no one else is doing shit, and you can just get maximum exposure. Like, I mean, every place would talk about you as like one of the big things.
Yeah, make your big announcement, this first like full week in January, and nobody else is here. There's not much else going on. So yeah, you have no competition essentially. It'd be perfect, but there has to, I mean, I don't know if it's just because it is so close to holidays and you still have people off and things like that.
I guess, but I feel like,
or what?
I feel like this year would have been the best to capitalize on that.
True.
Right? I mean, like, to my point, right? Oh, I'd be traveling somewhere. I'm on vacation. Yeah, sure, whatever. I'm not going to give a shit and look at the news. But, like, I'm stuck in my house. I feel like it would have been a great time for someone to take advantage. Like, a Nintendo would have killed it if they did,
absolutely.
Like, did one of their directs, which, I mean, obviously, we've seen that there's going to possibly be a direct. So... but that's a whole nother piece. All right, so moving on to the news. Speaking of Fall Guys, which I played over the 2 weeks, Fall Guys is getting Doom costumes. So Doom Slayer and 2 demons will be making their way into Fall Guys as costumes for your weird bean people. I enjoy the term bean people. That's interesting.
Bean people.
The trailer for the pack also depicted a Doom-styled arena, but at this time there is no confirmation that we'll be getting that. The costumes will be available for purchase starting on January 12th. There will be a limited items, but it has not been announced as to how long they'll be available or how much they will cost. So I'm assuming they're going to be like the other ones. I mean, I would assume so, but
Well, I think these ones you actually have to purchase. I think it'll be like a DLC pack. Maybe. I don't know. I have not,
so like
honestly.
you don't use coins in game to purchase these? Like you can buy coins, right?
Yeah, there are some, but I know some of their like they actually have DLC packs essentially that have some of the costumes and things. I'm not as involved in Fall Guys as I could be, I suppose.
Oh, you don't want to be. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just calling it like it is.
No. I actually do enjoy the game. It's kind of more I just hop in and play every once in a while. So I haven't really kept very good track of how they do all of their like DLC costumes because they just had one for Portal not too long ago. But I don't remember what that cost. So sorry.
Cost money.
We'll find out on the 12th.
Go get some Bitcoin and then go cash out and go get yourself some Doom characters, some Doom bean people.
There you go.
That'd be great.
So we have some games that are coming to Xbox Game Pass on January 7th. eFootball PES 2021 is coming to Android and console. Yeah, because remember, there's like 19 different things this can
Android meaning anymore. Android X Cloud?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Their X
Cloud system. God. So they've now split xCloud between game releases on xCloud between Android and iOS.
Yeah, iOS doesn't get them right now.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, do you think they're going to do the bullshit that they do right now, or between PC and all that, and they're going to split it between iOS and Android, where then there's like a game comes to Game Pass and there's six variables as to what it's on?
Doubt it, and I think some of that's out of their control too. I mean, it is. The iTunes Store is a lot more strict, or the App Store, I guess, is more strict than what Android is. Android will fucking put anything out. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you want a coloring book that's secretly malware? Get that on the Google Play Store, baby.
Oh, yeah. But don't worry, the Google Play Store certifies it as safe.
That's right.
Injustice 2 is coming to Android, console, and PC, and The Little Acre is coming to Android and console. And on January 14th, you can get Neoverse on PC, Torchlight 3 on Android and console, What Remains of Edith Finch on PC, YIIK.
I think Y2K is what it means.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like an artsy way of saying Y2K.
Postmodern RPG. Yeah, I don't like it, though.
That's all right. You can call it Yick.
Yick. Postmodern RPG is coming to PC. And then we have some games that will be leaving on January 15th. FTL, Faster Than Light, is leaving PC. My Friend Pedro is leaving console and PC. Sword Art Online, Fatal Bullet is leaving console. And Tekken 7 is leaving console as well.
Ooh. Boy, oh boy, they need to come up with a better way of informing people.
Yeah, I don't know what that looks like necessarily. But
it was pretty interesting on Twitter, which it's always interesting on Twitter, but it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's pretty interesting on Twitter a couple days ago. Someone had replied to, I think it was Major Nelson, or it might have been, I think it was Aaron Greenberg, someone replied to. And they had said, hey, here's a neat idea for, Xbox like exclusive games that are coming from Xbox Studios, because you guys own so many fucking studios at this point. Right. You just call them Xbox Originals.
Okay.
And then you line them up, and they're under Xbox Originals, and you can say, and an Xbox Original goes out to everything, so people know that Xbox Original goes to everything. So you can just say Xbox Original, blah, 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 is being released, and then you focus on all these other games on the Netflix side.
They're going to call them like Xbox Games X.
Yeah. Xbox Arcane titles.
Yeah, something real stupid, because whatever they do isn't going to make any sense. Because they have the worst naming conventions, and somebody okays that.
Yeah, the guy who names these things, the same guy who's writing shit on the side of like a toboggan or a GT ski thing that you write, right? It's the guy that writes Extreme with just an X.
I think it's probably the same guy that names like Yamaha
motorcycles. Wakeboards.
Yeah, wakeboards. They're dirt bike. He must work for Yamaha in his spare time as well.
Yeah, the Yamaha GT
600R.
Yeah, the GT 350 Extreme RX. Yeah. Oh my god.
That man needs fired.
Absolutely. Moving on, Hitman.
Don't actually fire him. Please.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Moving on, Hitman Sandbox VR mode. Good Lord. So IO Interactive released a new trailer for VR compatibility in Hitman 3, which is set to release on January 20th. It has already been revealed that if you own Hitman 1 and 2, you'll be able to import those levels into the upcoming game, which in turn will allow you to play older levels in VR as well. Super cool. The PS4 version will be the only version of the game that will support the VR modes of this game, as there's a problem with PSVR working properly with the PS5 currently. So that a little sad on that, but yeah. I mean, I don't know how many. I mean, I guess there'll be a lot of people that'll still pick it up because people can't get PS5s right now. The option is GameStop's $800 bundle.
Right. Well, the nice part too is it's not like you have to buy a special VR game. Like you can still just get Hitman 3 and it has the VR mode in it. So that's cool, and I think it's good that they've done that, because there are some cases where people will put out a game and then a year later they're like, oh yeah, and now it's in VR. And sometimes that works. I mean, there's some things like Super Hot, like that came out a while ago, and then they finally got around to making a VR game because that game took off, right? But I think this is cool, man. I don't have VR currently as I sit now, but I would like to get it, but I'm waiting for the next iteration.
She says it depressively.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no clue how to feel about VR because I haven't tried a modern day VR.
Like, I think you're the kind of guy that's going to throw up.
You think so?
Yeah, because your glasses.
I don't really get motion
like
sickness.
That. Yeah,
fair enough.
But
it is a whole nother realm.
You have a way higher prescription than me for glasses, right? Like you're blind, right?
Right.
Without them.
I mean, it's not great.
So I mean, obviously you can wear them in it, but I just know that out of the 4 or 5 people I know that have different VR stuff, everything from like the Vive to whatever, the people who have like a higher, oddly enough, I think almost all of them have glasses, but
really
the ones that have like, they're fucking blind.
Deeper prescriptions.
they have an issue and can't play it as long as the other ones. But I mean, I could be wrong. There could have been a lot of stuff that's changed, obviously, but
right.
I mean,
and a lot
I'd
of
be
it
down
game to game too.
Yeah,
right?
like I'd be down.
I just want to play
for
Beat Saber, man.
Yeah,
Let's be really honest.
I mean, I'd be down too for that, and I mean, I'd really like to play. I just want games that don't feel tech demo-y.
That's fair.
And that doesn't mean that it has to be fully immersive by any means, like a crazy immersive story. But I would like to have something that is. I mean, Beat Saber's kind of tech demo-y in some essences. It's a quick little party game, right? I mean, it's like Tap Tap Revenge. Ooh,
right.
That game. Ooh. But I mean, I don't know. I just think I want more out of them from what I've seen. I definitely want better graphics. Holy hell.
Yeah, a lot of them are pretty rough, but there's certainly some good ones too. Like Astrobot is supposed to be fantastic. Control. I mean, Control. I can see that game absolutely making someone nauseous in VR. Like,
what about Star Wars Squadrons? Oh my god.
Yeah, I've heard that VR is fantastic though.
You're just like flying around and just. I think Tommy said that, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that's
your
right,
buddy.
Yeah.
Tommy.
Hey, Tommy.
But no, I think this is cool. I'd give it a go if I had VR, but I do not have VR, so I guess we'll just have to wait. And the other cool part about this is IO was really good about if you buy either the PS4 version, you get the free upgrade to PS5 or vice versa. So you can technically still play VR, but I think there might be a hardware issue with the VR for the PS5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there is.
So I guess you're still screwed there if you're trying to play on a PS5. But it's something that hopefully they'll get fixed remotely soon, I would think.
Yeah, maybe. I would think so. Hopefully. You got to stop them from crashing first, but yeah.
Yeah, that too. Monster Hunter Rise is getting a demo on the Nintendo Switch. So during a live stream on Thursday, which if you're watching us live, that's obviously today, Capcom showed off some of the new monsters, some of the features, and more of the upcoming, and more for the upcoming Monster Hunter game. Man, it's going to take a minute. This is going to be that episode that we're like,
Just going to be that episode, baby.
We're never going to be able to go on a break again. But more of the Monster Hunter game coming to Nintendo Switch on March 26th. Aside from the details, a demo was also announced for the game that should be available by the time you're listening to this. It was supposed to be coming up like any moment now. And I think I checked the eShop before I got on here and it wasn't available yet. Maybe not. I don't know. By the time you're listening to the actual podcast, it will be available. But the demo will be available through January 31st and will feature a couple different missions and will give you access to all 14 weapon types, included in the game. You will be limited to 30 solo runs of these missions, but the online multiplayer will be absolutely unlimited. So I'm really excited for this game.
I dig that. I mean, that's some good news.
Yeah, I mean, for a demo, that's pretty generous. And honestly, 30 runs of running the same mission over and over and over, I think that's fair. I mean, by that time, I'm going to get bored anyway. But, I mean, I really enjoyed Monster Hunter World. But I know our kind of friend group kind of fell out of it before I was really done with it. But, I mean, that's kind of what we do. We bounce around from game to game to game to game. But I'm excited for this. I mean, with it being on the Switch, it's definitely something I could see dumping a lot of time in. For being on the Switch, the graphics are also fantastic. They really went with a smart art style for this type of game and for that system.
Yeah, it's a lot better than going with like a World, because a World would just look probably
it would look
awful.
Terrible on the Switch, which in the past they've kind of tried to do those realistic type graphics on the 3DS, and it doesn't play nearly as well. Like, I think this is a much smarter way to go about the graphics for the Switch, and it's a limited capacity of what it can do.
No.
But I think this looks awesome. I'm excited to try this demo out and see kind of if I'm still into this genre, because I haven't played Worlds in a while. But this is cool.
Cool, dope. Arcane is working on another game besides Deathloop, apparently. So, news of this comes from an interview with Dishonored co-creator Harvey Smith. Harvey stated that he is not working on Deathloop, but is instead working on a project with the team who worked on Dishonored and Prey. Both of these games were received quite well, and fans are excited to see what the project may be, but no further mention of the project is made during Harvey's interview with Vandal. I hope it's something different than Dishonored. I think it will be, just because Deathloop is so much different, you know?
I hope so. I mean, I never got into Dishonored because I'm not really good at it's kind of like a sneaky type of game, you know, a little bit. And I'm not real good with that. And I also get very impatient with stealth type games. So I kind of bounced off of Dishonored a little bit, and I never did get around to playing Prey. I meant to, and it just never happened.
Yeah.
But I've heard amazing things about both games. I know they're both beloved. But yeah, I would like to see something different. I'd like to see a new IP or just some sort of different type of adventure. And I know a lot of people would love to see Dishonored 3, but if
Dishonored 2 is right, I mean,
I heard good things about it. I heard Dishonored 2 is better than Dishonored 1 even, but I don't know. Like I said, I bounced off of them. They weren't a game for me by any means, but
yeah. No, be interesting to see what they're going to work on.
I know they did a really good job on the Prey DLC as well. So, I mean, there could be a chance for Prey 2. Again, I don't know how these stories shake down. I've heard things about Dishonored, but I'm not going to say anything as far as spoiler-wise or anything, but
bet on Deathloop being delayed.
It already has been.
No, I know, but again.
Another one?
But again.
But it's very possible, yeah. I think, what is it, May or March now? One of the two? Somewhere in that ballpark.
So. Yeah, it is. It's like April or May.
Yeah, it's somewhere spring.
Yeah.
I forget the exact date, but yeah, no, I could definitely see it getting pushed back again. I hope not, because I think the longer they delay it, it's kind of hurting this game. I feel like a lot of the hype around it has really died down. Even when they do put out a new trailer, nobody's really talking about it nearly as much. Granted, obviously last year was a difficult year for developers and everyone else.
It's pretty tough.
So yeah, it's tough. But yeah, I really hope they're able to get this and hit the spring kind of date. I think that'd be good for them.
Sweet.
So Respawn Entertainment just posted up some new postings, a new posting specifically that we're going to talk about here, but it kind of gives us a small idea of what they're working on. And by small, I mean very minute. This almost didn't even make it into the show notes, but so the posting is simple and vague enough. They're basically just asking for a generalist software engineer, and they mentioned new practical technologies that will enable adventuring forever.
Procedurally generated.
Yeah, we've heard that before. I mean, ask
they're
No Man's Sky
making
how
a
that went at
Minecraft.
launch.
Stand by.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hello Games is probably going, no, don't do it. No.
No.
So while fans are still clamoring for a new Titanfall game, this does not appear to be it, but that does not discount the project they are working on by any means, because lately they've been doing some awesome stuff. I mean, with Apex Legends and still supporting that, granted, the overall player base for that game has died, but the diehard fans of that game, and there's still actually a lot of people playing it. Our whole friend group completely is out of it now at this point. But,
people have
and then on
dropped
top
off,
of
dude.
that, yeah, but they also had Jedi Fallen Order, which was an awesome game. I absolutely loved playing through that. And if they can create something, there was some issues with Jedi Fallen Order, don't get me wrong, but if they can create something of that caliber and actually deliver on this kind of enable adventuring forever, which I don't care so much about. I just want a good adventure. That's fine by me. But the big thing is games as services, right? Like they're doing well with Apex Legends, so of course they're going to want to do something in a different realm aside from Battle Royale that can also still bring in that constant revenue for a while. So I get where they're coming from, but we'll see what it ends up.
Yeah, and then I just don't know if we actually have a little input here too at the same time. It says I just wish Titanfall 2 would come to Switch. It's fair.
Ooh, that I like the idea of it, but I feel like in practice it would not be nearly as fun because that game is so fast and frantic, and the joysticks on the Switch suck for first-person shooter.
So I just want to jump and be agile with the Pro Controller. Yeah,
okay, fair enough. Yeah,
dude, Overwatch, perfect case on that. Boy, that sucks to use handheld. That is impossible to play.
It is a nightmare. Absolutely terrible. I hate the joysticks when you're playing handheld. Like the Pro Controller is fantastic. Love it. But yeah, I don't know about that. But I love Titanfall, and I love Titanfall 2, and the story of Titanfall 2 is amazing. It was seriously one of my favorite FPS campaigns I've ever played.
Yeah.
But that game also goes on sale for $5 every other month.
I know,
because
it's so cheap.
And it's cool because there's a lot of people that finally get to try it. They're like, oh, what the hell is this? I'll play it. It's $5. But also the multiplayer fan base that is still there, they're really good.
Dude, they're unreal. Oh, you'll get wrecked.
My ass so bad.
Yeah,
it's fun, but oh man, it's brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Moving on to another news story. The last piece of news story is that Nintendo's purchasing Next Level Games. So Next Level Games has officially been acquired by Nintendo. In the past, the studio has worked closely but not exclusively with Nintendo, developing various different games for the gaming giant since 2005 on the Nintendo GameCube. Notable Nintendo games that the studio has worked on include Super Mario Strikers, which bow down. That's unreal.
I hope this means they're bringing back Strikers. I was going to save it for the end, but I can't fucking wait. I want this game so bad.
Yeah. Mario Strikers Charged on the Wii in 2007. Punch-Out! Wii 2009. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for the 3DS in 2013. Metroid Prime Federation Force on the 3DS in 2016. And Luigi's Mansion 3, which is the most current one that came out in 2019 for Switch. At this time, no details have been revealed about this deal outside of a completion date of March 1st, pending shareholder and regulatory approval, which they should get regulatory approval.
Yeah, it should
and
be an issue.
They should probably get shareholder approval as well because they've done so much business with them as well.
Oh, yeah.
So you're hoping for Strikers?
I want Strikers back so bad.
I feel like they'd have... It would just nail home, the whole... it would do gangbusters.
I want all of the Mario sports games to come back and be way better than Mario tennis aces, whatever the hell that was. That was terrible.
Yeah.
But bring back strikers.
Bring back
even
golf. Bring back
Yeah.
Mario Golf. Oh my God!
they had a
Yes.
baseball version as well.
All Stars.
Yeah, All Stars. I couldn't think of the name of it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if they can come back in, and I mean, Luigi's Mansion 3 was awesome too, and there's a
Oh
lot
my
of cool
God,
things
wait,
here.
Wait. Did the shitty Olympic game come out?
The one with Sonic, yeah,
That's for
Mario
Tokyo?
and Sonic. Yeah, I think it came out like last year.
Did it
Not
really?
Like 2020 last year. I thought it was like 2019 last year.
Did it
The
really?
Olympics were supposed to happen in 2020, right?
I know, but I figured they would release it like when the Olympics start, not or like just a
No.
little bit beforehand.
Yeah, they always do it like right before the year before type of thing.
There's no
So-
way. Oh my God.
Yeah,
29.99 at Wally World and
There you go.
$60 at Target. That's about right.
So when are we doing a Let's Play with Mario versus Sonic?
Oh God. It's so bad. They're all so bad all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
I heard some okay things about it, but there was never anything great. I mean, they never have been great, but they still do them because apparently people buy them, right?
I don't know who. I mean, this seems like a grandma and grandpa game. You know what I mean? Like grandma
Absolutely.
throws this thing under the Christmas tree, and you're like, "Thank you."
I am actually kind of scared that we may own it and have gotten it for Christmas last year. I'm not 100% sure because now that I think about it,
own it and never have played it.
never touched it. I can't. I don't know for sure, but it may very well be in a Switch case somewhere.
How crazy is it that Mario and Sonic have both completed the Olympic Games in Tokyo, but we have not yet as a human race? That's wild, dude.
God. That is wild. That is
Some crazy
wild.
shit.
Yeah, I'm excited for this this acquisition by Nintendo. It's cool.
Speaking of Nintendo stuff, did you also see that like really bad leak that I don't think is real at all on Twitter about like a Nintendo Direct on the 11th and like all the stuff that's in it?
I did not.
It was just so this guy
That one didn't even hit my radar. It must have been buried
this guy
pretty deep.
posts on Twitter. I don't know if it's the original person, but it got people going like nuts before everything else went
Naturally.
down. That made everyone go nuts naturally. And the guy just shows like this. He's just holding a piece of paper, and it says Nintendo at the top left, and it's like
Written in fucking
and
crayon.
it's like bullet points that says "Do not share publicly." Right,
Uh-huh.
and on there's like Mario Kart 9, Metroid teas, like just a bunch of like a big
All
announce.
the heavy hitters that would make
Yeah,
people lose their
a lot
mind.
of them. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's time to have a new Mario Kart, but I also say that knowing
yeah.
that it continues to sell. Like, I mean, just disgusting numbers. I mean, I forget the
Yeah,
numbers, but remember that night
It's
we
like
went
you
over.
go out and buy a Switch, you buy Mario Kart to go alongside it. Yeah, it just will continue to sell.
Yeah, they better bring back Double Dash.
I can't remember what those numbers were, but they're just absolutely insane what the attachment rate for Mario Kart is to the Switch. It's just crazy.
It was the amount of numbers of titles sold was disgusting.
Oh, absolutely.
It continually sells like over 1 million a month easily.
It's just insane.
Stupid how many people own it. All right, do we want to roll into some of the questions we got?
Yeah. So since news is kind of a little bit dull right now, we figured we'd kind of reach out to people on Twitter and Instagram and get people to write in some questions and do something different. We've never
Might I
done
add,
questions on the show.
We probably chose the worst fucking time to ask something.
Oh, it was awful.
Completely like attractive to anybody at this point in time.
Yeah,
With everything going
the
on,
only
but-
people that wrote in were friends of ours. So
Hell
I'll take
yes.
I'll take it. So
Fucking Twitter.
Boys from Boss Rush and WASD, you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
But anyway, the first question from WASD, I assume it was Nick, is what are some franchises from like movies, TV, etc., that we would like to see turned into games or that we think would translate very well into a video game?
Oh man.
So I typed all these out, and then I never thought about them the rest of the day because I didn't want to have an unfair advantage. I wanted to be a part of this rapid fire, right? So yeah, I'm thinking about it as well. I don't watch a ton of TV to begin with, but
What? Look at my camera. Like, do you see this shit?
It's freaking the hell out.
It's going to like a heat mode. Like it doesn't have that option, but
here we are.
It's doing it.
So sorry for Jeff's video quality.
Figure that out next week. Holy hell. Oh my God.
I've been watching, which we're kind of getting this already, right? So we watched the second season of Titans, which is based on like Teen Titans, right? But it's like the comics. It's very gritty. It's almost like your HBO style. And we're kind of getting that with Arkham Knight. But I've also been watching The Boys, the Amazon, like if superheroes were owned by corporations type of thing. And I don't know how well it would translate to a game, but I kind of want it.
Hopefully not like the Avengers.
Yeah. Ooh, boy.
What a dumpster fire that was. Not great. I think of Fast and Furious.
That didn't go well either.
Yeah. No, I think I would like to.
It seems like they never translate well. Just never. Like you're better off going from a video game to a movie than you are going from a movie to a video game.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
Like The Witcher from a book to a game to now a TV series is amazing. Mm-hmm. But if you were to go in some sort of bastardized reverse order, or even if it went book, TV series, and then game, the game probably would have been terrible. Like it never goes well. Yeah. But then again, I think of like the Hitman movies, like they're not good, but that was a game before it was a movie type of thing. It's like, they never seem to go well because half the time they're a quick cash in kind of thing. Oh my God,
this camera. I mean, it's fucking, look at this. I'm going sideways now. What is this?
Somehow getting worse. It's impressive.
It's wild.
The Assassin's Creed movie was bad. Prince of Persia movie was bad.
Ooh, Lyrically says I can see Psych being done as an episodic game.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Kind of like a
but the Good Doctor.
Kind of like a who is the company that does those? Like they just did Tell Me Why, and they do all the I'm completely drawing a blank tonight. What is that company?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I couldn't tell.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, it's great. That's our knowledge, baby. I think I think of a good one as it's more of like who would do it, but I feel like if you had a who's the guy that drops the F-bomb at Game Awards? That's his thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean he's like a movie director, but like he has the new games like The Story of Us and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think if someone could take a game like The Story of Us and use that narrative, but then apply it to a Pixar film, and even if you played exact same story that is in the Pixar film, but you played it in a different way. Because the problem with the Disney films to games just in the past
what the movie was exactly. And
well, not even that. In some essences, they try to expand upon more of it when that's what makes a movie great. It was condensed as a movie for 2 hours so that you could play it out, and it is done out properly. I'd like to see them do something where it still follows the movie story, but there's more detailed narrative inside of the game, and it's produced in a way like that one producer who drops the F-bomb all the time as I continue to just glitch out just like crazy.
Completely glitching in and out. It's
just
impressive.
Wild. It's incredible. So I see that. I do, as much as it's a joke, I do think a Fast and Furious game that wasn't done the way that this one was done, but was done more of a Need for Speed Underground style stuff, back to the basics of the original Fast and Furious, instead of driving a Miata through a fucking skyrise. I think that would make a lot of sense. And I think also from a business standpoint, I think they've made one for the Wii. They gotta make a Bachelor video game. I mean, that
Oh,
shit
good
would
God.
sell like hotcakes. I would not buy it. I hate it.
Your wife would buy it.
Oh my! Yeah, your wife would buy it.
I would break whatever console it's on.
Oh fuck! God, that show,
Yeah.
dude. Oh my god.
It's something.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think like,
Ooh, Fast and Furious done like Burnout Takedown.
yeah, I can.
Yeah,
I
you
like
can't.
that.
Vin Diesel can't die. I guess he could just eject and ascend
There
from
you go.
his car
Yeah.
after it explodes,
Uh-huh.
like Christ, and come down to the ground, and then he's good.
Yeah, not with a parachute, mind you, just by sticking his arms out and
He just
floating down to
T-pose.
the ground.
It's not a bug. It's just Vin Diesel.
You know, and kind of in a reverse sense, I would like to see them take like Dark Souls and turn it into a movie or a TV series. I think that would be awesome. Think about like your boss battles and stuff and make it an episodic thing where it's like Monster of the Week type of thing, but it's just some crazy over the top action movie or action hour-long episode or even half-hour episodes like Castlevania in the anime style show that they did is amazing. Like, I loved it. Granted, it's not actually entirely based on a specific Castlevania game, but it's still cool. They do a lot of cool things there.
Yeah, I'd definitely be down for that. That'd be pretty dope.
Demon Souls, Dark Souls type of thing, Bloodborne even.
As long as it doesn't turn out to be the Warcraft film, because that was.
There's also that. There's so many bad examples. I wish there was more good examples to point
Well,
to.
there's a theme here in the pattern. This is why we don't do it.
Maybe we just don't do it.
Yeah.
For our next question, if unless you have any other great ideas.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Why do people want to make fan games / merchandise / other things out of Nintendo products if some people still don't view them as a game company? Which I don't know if I've really heard that many people not refer to them as a game company, but I understand kind of what they're getting at here. Are their IPs that powerful that they are worth touching more than something from Sony or Microsoft? And this comes from our buddy Ed over at Powblock. I think Nintendo IP is something where a lot of the people that are of the age of creating games and things grew up with this, or a lot, I guess not necessarily, because there's a lot of younger people that are making it too. But I mean, our age grew up with like Mario and Zelda and all of these different games that are kind of classic at this point, I guess, in a sense. Yeah. And so I think a lot of people just hold these certain IPs to a different standard, and that they are just these things that they hold very close to their heart. I don't think it's necessarily that. And what's even more bizarre about it is Nintendo is the worst with their cease and desist. So,
oh my God. Yeah.
And they'll sue you into oblivion, but people are still making games and basically counterfeiting IP and stuff. And some of these created games are awesome. Some of the mods and things people do, they're so cool. But yeah, you really don't see it much with Sony games or Microsoft games. I mean, you're not seeing people go crazy with modding Halo or creating their own Halo game to a sense. But granted,
I think people wish they could mod the new Halo.
That's also a thing. But I think some of it is that like Halo focuses so heavily on multiplayer, so you're just going to be playing multiplayer. So most people aren't creating something there, and on top of that, it's just a FPS for the most part. Like anybody can create an FPS, put their tiny little spin on it, and be like, "Oh, well, this is a thing." Whereas Nintendo is very iconic. Now you also have Sony, where they're doing. I mean, they have like Uncharted, they have all these different things. Mm-hmm. I think the thing that sets Nintendo apart is that their games are very unique, whereas Sony and Microsoft make very good games, or at least Sony for the most part. Microsoft, we're getting there, right? But I think Sony makes very good games, but I don't think there's anything unique enough about them that you could be like, well, I created this action adventure game and it's a fan story for Uncharted, but it's like, but is it? I mean, really? Because at the end of the day, you just created your own action adventure game. I think that's where my hang up is. I think it's just Nintendo is so unique with what they do and how they do it. And
I also think it's because they do so much. I mean, like,
yeah,
like those games you just rattled off there from Sony and from Microsoft. I mean, they're like these long, arching, crazy stories with insane graphics and all this kind of stuff. And Nintendo, I mean, the majority of games, yes, there's a great story, but I mean, like, you like a Paper Mario Origami King. I mean, it's not going to compete against a Nathan Drake, but you don't have Sony doing that. You don't have Sony doing a Paper Mario. I mean, there's Astros, Sackboy. No one's really pumped up for Sackboy.
right. I mean, you got
Little Big Planet used to be big, but now it's little. Now it's little Planet.
you also have like The Last of Us, obviously, and some other things like that. But like you're saying, a lot of it, I think some of it, or at least, has to do with art style too. Some of that can be replicated way easier than trying to replicate what Naughty Dog does with their games.
Yeah. I mean, it's either got to be the fact that Sony and Microsoft just do not build games at all in that one section and segment, but Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo's stories are. I mean, it's not. You play a Mario game, simple. You know what's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, it's like the same game over and over again. It's just different areas.
I mean, most of your Zelda games are. You could guess what's going to happen by the end as well. But I mean, yeah, there's some twists and stuff. Like the first time playing through Ocarina of Time and like Majora's Mask and those, like, there was some twists there. But for the most part, you're like, well, Link's probably going to win by the end, but I don't know.
There's another discussion point here. It says, I wonder about the Forza series and why people won't touch. But I think that's customization for the cars. So I think it's more just... The car stuff, you start modding stuff for the cars and you get sued.
Yeah,
because I think that the industry's so detached from video games. They're just getting a check from Microsoft of like, thanks McLaren. Here's
that
X
would
amount
be
of dollars.
That would be like creating your own NFL game and having like Patrick Mahomes of it. Like you're gonna get sued into oblivion. You can't do that.
You just name them other things like Patrice McGlomes of the Kansas City Queefs. I don't know.
I knew it was right there. I was like, he's going to say Queefs.
I thought about it so hard, dude. Queefs. I was like, God, I don't know if I should. I did it, baby.
There it is.
I did it. But yeah, I mean, it's also to the point too. It says maybe it's assets and what people can do with them with Nintendo, and the other assets people don't want to deal with. I agree. I mean, it's easier art styles than Nintendo. I mean, it's 720p also on a Switch.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I think there's
not that. I mean, there's games that translate to PlayStation too from fan-based Nintendo-ish style stuff.
Right.
Like Stardew Valley, right? I mean, it's Harvest Moon, right?
Yeah, give it like the marriage of Animal Crossing and Harvest Moon, right? Yeah. Next question. Unless you had anything else to add.
No,
we're
good.
Jumping ahead without you here. What are some key games from PS5, Xbox, and Switch that will help them succeed in 2021? What game is most important for each one? And this comes from our buddy Corey over at Boss Rush.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, I feel like the obvious answer for Xbox is Halo.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah. I think Fable.
I think it's Halo.
Because I mean, so Halo is obviously popular, but I feel like you get people back more to Xbox and people, you get newer people over from like PlayStation stuff to go get an Xbox if Fable was going on that thing. Just because Fable's lived up so much now and hyped up like crazy. And you can go buy the old version of it if you want, but I mean, it's, and watch all the stuff online, but I mean,
we also live in a world where Microsoft now owns Bethesda. So, I mean, you talk about the Elder Scrolls 5, like that's a big game. Now, at this point in time, they have not said for sure whether it would be an Xbox exclusive or not, but I mean, that is a pivotal game, or even Star Citizen if it ever actually launches. I mean, any of these Bethesda games, right?
Yeah, no,
Now,
I would just say Fable just because the Halo stuff. I think that Halo brings that Xbox crowd in, but they already have Xboxes.
right.
Or they're already going to get
That's
it for
fair.
Halo. So it's like, you please your crowd. I get it, but the crowd's probably not going to leave.
Right.
I mean, they've also got this super strong ecosystem, right, with Game Pass and stuff like that. So that's why I just think that's like your ticket to really be like, hey, come on over and test the waters out.
It seemed like for the longest time too, you were either a Call of Duty player or a Halo player. Now those lines are so blurred. I mean, there's so many FPSs out now that
COD's also
that's not even
so
true.
different now.
It is very, very different now. But I don't think Halo. I mean, obviously Halo is still a huge game, but I'm starting to kind of see your point of view here. Like, I don't think it's going to bring in the crowd and be nearly as pivotal. Now, granted, they launched this Xbox, sent it out, and Master Chief is still plastered all over this fucking thing.
But what are you going to do, right? Because what else do you have?
Like, you can't change it, right? But that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm like, man, this game still has to be incredible, or it's really going to hurt.
No, don't get me wrong. I mean, it has to. It definitely has to be really, really well done and really good because I mean, this is going to be the big test of here's all the money Microsoft's been pouring in for these Xbox originals, that's what I'm going to call them because I think it's a great name for them instead of
absolutely
Xbox
I like
video
it.
game. But I think they have to prove that obviously, or else people are going to go, holy shit, what's going to happen to Fable? What's going to happen to this? What's going to happen to that with all these other ones that they've picked up? I just think from a marketing side, what are they going to do, right? I mean, they spent 2019 just plastering gears everywhere. All right. So you can't really do that for the next Xbox. yeah. And 2020, right? And so then you launch the Xbox and it's like, I mean, you have to put Master Chief on there. That's really your biggest IP, and people who don't own an Xbox even know who that dude is because back in 2013 they saw him on a bottle of Mountain Dew at a Speedway. I mean, he's everywhere. Right?
Oh, yeah.
When they market them. So, but I think to get people in, like from a business perspective, Fable needs to kill it. And I don't think I don't know if it's going to. I don't think it will. I think it'll be good.
I'm really excited for it because I'm an RPG guy. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
And Fable, I love Fable, and with Playground Games behind it too, like I'm excited to see what they do outside of a racing game.
But it also seems like they're stretching a lot of these studios too, where they've got them working on like 2 or 3 things at a time. And like you take a look at, is it Grounded, the one where like your kids out there? I mean, that hasn't done well at all. That's done super. Ryan in the chat, you see that?
I don't have the chat.
Puts an eggplant emoji in there. I mean, I don't know how, if they keep stretching it and they come out with these grounded games like in between these big releases and stuff, I think it's just going to hurt and hinder them. I'd rather them focus on a Fable rather than them mess around with like this like sandbox idea that just really didn't go anywhere. Like, I mean, nobody's playing it at all. So
that's fair. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I like that. Now, on the PlayStation side of things, I am leaning towards, I think God of War is going to be a big one. I don't know if it's going to be a make or break kind of situation because Sony's not really in the same boat that Microsoft is in. They're very different realms right now. But I think as far as what we have right now, I think God of War Ragnarok is going to be the huge game, at least for this next year, right? And what's coming beyond that? I mean, I'm sure they're going to do something with Uncharted. I don't know what that looks like anymore. There's going to be another Spider-Man. There's going to be a lot of these things that you kind of expect. I wouldn't doubt there's going to be a Last of Us 3.
Another
I mean, they
Uncharted or a spin out.
Yeah, they're going to do something. They'll probably start up a new Uncharted series or something. But to me, I think God of War is the big one. Coming off of the 2018 God of War that just was absolutely phenomenal. Everybody loved it that I know that has even tried it. Like, there's so many cool things going on there. And if they come out and absolutely kill it with this game, that's a huge win for them. And I think as it stands now, that's my choice for the pivotal game, or not even pivotal. It's still Sony at this point. So
Yeah, and I'd agree with you too, because I think most people honestly know that there's so many great games on PlayStation. There's great games on Xbox too. Like, don't get me wrong, but like I think a lot of people go, okay, cool. There's some great like one-player campaign style games on PlayStation, and I think it comes down to, like you said, you got to go with a staple like a God of War, but they got to knock it out of the park from a technicality standpoint. Like when you start that up, it's got to be like draining every last little bit out of the PS5 in order to play it, so they can crank out the most incredible graphics. Because I mean, even though the Series X on paper right now has, you know, a better performance peak for sure than the PS5. I mean, obviously there's a lot of different stuff you can do with machine learning and all that great stuff that PlayStation's done so far, but I think people pay more attention to that because it's already known as a system that has all these great games for it already, and it's just like a great attractive like secondary thing for them to have on the system of like, look how insane this title is, on top of it already being a great game and so many other games. Because what we've heard from them is really just sounds like PlayStation is going to be PlayStation, which is fine. That's great. I mean, they do their thing and it works out. But I don't know if there's really any other like crazy games out there that have really attracted me to the point where I'm like, oh man, got to play it right now. But that's always PlayStation for me, where they announce something, I'm like, okay, cool, and then I play it and I love it, and it also becomes a massive hit. And it's like, okay, all right. I mean, like Last of Us, right? Everyone's like, oh my god, it's a similar game to X amount of other games, which we just saw a release of a bunch of other style of games, but are more arcadey and less cinematic and story driven. But it ended up being totally different, and people fell in love with it. And I think that that's what they do really, 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 really well. They don't really hype up at the start with a new IP, but man, they can nail games. And once they nail them out of those studios, I mean, they're golden going forward. And then Nintendo.
I feel like this has to be Breath of the Wild too, right?
No, I don't think so.
I do.
I think
100%.
I think a Metroid.
No.
Well,
Metroid doesn't have the same fan base.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Metroid is going to be a big deal
that they have.
Nintendo can do no wrong. I mean, really.
Seriously, they have so many different games. And it's just, I mean, not obviously Xbox don't have their own games, but there's so many different games that come from first party that I don't really, I mean, what would have to see? Here's the thing: you can be like, okay, cool. Breath of the Wild 2 has to live up to hype. I don't know. I mean, it could be a shitty Zelda, and people go buy it and play the hell out of it. Somebody says Bayonetta 3. That's not a bad answer. Bayonetta 3.
And I think that's also kind of a niche market, though. I mean, Bayonetta's beloved, but it's also, I mean,
diehards. Yeah, there's diehard fans.
Yeah. I think if they put out another Mario game, another like 3D adventure Mario game.
But does it though, really? Because again, the advantage that they have with that market is it's kids that fills it. So like,
I don't think there's necessarily a pivotal game.
They're immortal.
Right? They're immortal. I mean, essentially, yeah.
Well, what's a pivotal game that's been announced by them that...
Nothing.
There's nothing.
They've been radio silent all year,
and there's no crazy new IP or anything like that. I mean, it's.
I mean, the last new IP they really did was Astral Chain, and that was platinum, right? But it was a Nintendo third party game. But I mean,
Labo.
For me, Labo. I don't think there is something that Nintendo could do wrong at this point. They put out Pikmin 3, sells great. It's already been out for 5-6 years now.
Yeah.
They put out a terrible, terrible port of a few 3D games, old Mario games. Sells like hotcakes.
Sells like
People
hotcakes,
fucking
baby.
hate it, and they're already
Mario-
talking about what they're going to do for Zelda.
Yeah, yeah, the exact.
Okay, so what are we going to get for Zelda? Oh, I
Exactly.
think we're going to get this remastered and this remastered. No, you're going to get
No,
the same
you're gonna
fucking
get the
thing,
same
and you're going
shit.
to go out and buy it anyway.
Yes, I mean they
And
they
I
were,
will too. I'm part of the problem. I understand.
they were able to take Mario 64 and reduce it for us to 4:3 aspect ratio when
Take
it
it
was
and make it worse.
It was 16:9 on the 3DS.
Right.
They
Right?
made it worse, and we bought it.
Uh-huh.
Mario
Absolutely.
Sunshine, it was okay. I mean, nothing was really up-resed that much. I mean, we got better UI, but then the game didn't look as crisp as the UI. So you're like, what the hell's this? They didn't even get
Right.
rid of the touch controls in Galaxy.
Yeah.
And then they gave us some soundtracks, and we bought the shit out of it. So I don't really know if there's anything that they got to live up to.
That's the thing.
I mean,
like,
the only thing that I think they have to live up to as a company is just Metroid, because I think it's been a disaster. But like you said, it's a small market.
I mean,
If they had another
we've
Animal
had bad
Crossing
Metroid
announced,
games too. There's been bad Metroid games.
and
I
people
mean,
bought the shit out of them. There's been
Fuck yeah, they
awful
did.
Star Fox games. Awful.
oh, terrible. And people are still just slobbering thinking about a new Star Fox game. Like, it doesn't matter what they do.
Yeah, yeah.
We just buy it.
These people
It's-
made
it's awful.
These people made a game where you hold the Wiimote up to your face like a fucking flute and click the 1 and 2 buttons. And people bought
love
it in droves.
No, I agree. I don't think there's anything that is going to be like, oh, they have to nail this. Do I think they really do need to do well with Breath of the Wild 2? Yes, only because of how critically acclaimed Breath of the Wild
And it's
was.
a direct sequel
yeah,
to the
right.
game.
Right.
That's already titled,
So,
is what I mean.
I think that is, it's not going to fucking kill Nintendo by any means if it's bad, but there's also a lot of people who are like, is this going to be like Ocarina of Time's Majora's Mask? Which,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's the question.
I'm 100% down.
Every time a Zelda
Every
comes
time.
out, how
Right.
does it compare to Ocarina? I
But
don't know. It came out on fucking
we don't
N64.
get direct sequels with the Zelda series very often at all. I mean, really, just Ocarina of Time
dude,
/
when
Majora's
we
Mask,
do-
and even that wasn't even a sequel.
Yeah, when
It was
we
kind of a sequel.
when we do, it's like Spirit Tracks, and there's 3 different fucking versions of it, and you get 5 minutes of different story in each version. And
Yeah.
so okay, maybe it is Breath of the
Oracle
Wild.
of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, and
Yes.
then the third one you
That's
could
what I'm
unlock
thinking
by
of,
having
yes.
the save file. Yeah.
And if
yeah.
all 3 of you are playing one of each, you can all jump on top of each other's heads and carry each other using a game link
right.
on the Game Boy Advance. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
It's crazy. I mean, they said Breath of the Wild can't be Cyberpunk. Yeah, Nintendo won't do that at
No.
all. There's no way.
No.
I mean, at all.
Nintendo wouldn't. Yeah,
That
they
shit's-
wouldn't allow
games
that.
are always well polished. There's no issues, no bugs, no
Right.
crazy issues.
If anything, we just get 4x3 version of it because they fucking hate us.
that's right. What? Oh, one of the things on that supposed possible leak or whatever it was, that wasn't a real leak, but this is a piece of paper. Someone wrote Wii Sports and like bring all the Wii Sports collections and all those Wii music, I guess too, will come to Switch. I'm just like, I don't even know how you would do that. But oh shit, we just got called out. They said though
Yeah.
the oracles were Capcom.
Capcom. Yeah. They are, but they're also Nintendo licensed games. So that was, again, the only sequel we've really had. It was our Pokemon version of it, essentially. Your Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Hey, I hear myself.
That's me. Fuck.
But
There we go.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I think the big thing is just we don't get sequels. So it with this being a direct sequel, it's a big deal, and so that's actually really cool to see. And they do need to knock it out of the park, and it's Nintendo, and I think they will.
You know who needs to live up to the hype?
What?
Stadia as a whole. Just
It's not doing a great job. I mean, after the Cyberpunk thing, I saw
helped
more people
them.
talk about Stadia than I have ever seen. Like,
'Cause that's sort of like, this
could
is
have
the
been a
best way to play
publicity
it.
stunt for Stadia, and nobody would have thought anything different. Like, it's insane.
one man's
we got-
disaster is a Stadia success.
Right. We've got one more question, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. Yeah. So in 2021, where do we want to see gaming go? And this was from WASD as well. And they're talking as far as new consoles, next gen, E3 packs, and so on. Is there anything that you're specifically wanting to see, or something like that? Not so much where we think it will go, but what we want.
I'd like to see more people be able to get the next gen console.
Well, there's that.
That'd be kind of neat.
Solid start.
I think I would like to see definitely like them try to fix some of the crashes and stuff on the next gen better.
Ed's cracking me up in our chat here right now.
I know. I'm dying too. This is still funny. Still think Arms 2 is coming. Oh god.
Yeah. Oh god.
But definitely that, and then I mean, in terms of like trade shows. Games.
I just
I mean, obviously, I want to. I do not want to see the remote work for studios continue because it doesn't work.
Right. It's difficult to be creative in a setting like that.
And there's like the argument where it's like, well, there's a transitional period between games. It's like, nah, there's games now that have come out where like people have been working on them for a flat out a year remote, and it just doesn't work on larger scale games. And then in terms of like trade shows and stuff like that, I mean, like E3 and all that kind of stuff and the events. I mean, highly unlikely because obviously COVID. I think PAX is a great thing for players to go to. I wish E3 was honestly not open to the public.
Yeah.
And I think it would just be
I can't remember if we talked about it on the show, but I know we've talked about it, between us.
I mean, when I've been to it and it's, as industry, and it's difficult. I mean, none of the deals get done that you need to get done, and it's just, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We saw also, though, this time around, and with COVID, that the big announcements and stuff like at E3 doesn't make any sense. They don't need to do it anymore. Like, these video events were great. I mean, they announced and launched a new PlayStation console, all through, live streaming on YouTube and Twitch, and they got probably more viewership, I haven't checked, than they would have ever through E3 and more ability to get more marketing done, organic marketing, which is important, done with the PlayStation than they have before. I don't know. I mean, it's also difficult because it's just last year, I guess, 2020 is just so weird, and 2021 continues to be, leftovers of 2020.
Not off to a strong start so far, so
yeah, it's not ideal, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like, I think it's just gonna stay still like this year. I really do. I think it's gonna be status quo as to like, you can't tell me that June 2021 we're going to be having an E3. There's no way. We're going to be waiting until 2022 if E3 ever happens again. Like GDC is not going to happen. No trade show. And I travel for work. I travel to a lot of different trade shows. I mean, I'm probably not going to be traveling to any trade shows probably until 2022. Because you have to convince all these people to come to this. And honestly, on my side of stuff, I would go out to a lot of these things, and we'd have other meetings or go and see, the stuff that we're working on. I do in my regular everyday job, but it's like, it's terrible. It's really stupid how trade shows are. I mean, you sit there as a company and you're going to pay like $8,000, $10,000, to get all of your stuff set up there and fly, let's say 2 people out and all your stuff. You're going to be in an area that you have no idea about, a city, right? You're going to be in a big room where people have to actually walk to your shit in order for you to be able to talk to them. So you're just hoping that people make it to you and aren't lazy. and then there's 50,000 of you and none of you know where you are or your way around town, which can be fun in certain cities.
Or terrible.
Or terrible. San Antonio, great. Oklahoma City, terrible. I mean, like you just get bored or there's nothing to do. Yeah, and it's just like, and then you come home with leads, and this works in the gaming industry too. I mean, it's the same thing at E3. You go there, you talk to a bunch of people, everyone else talks to everybody at the same time. Everyone's communication is screwed. You come home with a stack of business cards, and you're just hoping to God you can get one or two people out of the stack of business cards to just get a conversation going out before everyone else is taking their conversation or attention away from them. So I don't see any events happening in 2021. For anything. Games or the dental industry, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not happening.
The dentist will still have it.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think for me, I mean, something I really would like to see, I want to see the new version of PSVR, especially since the old version is broken for the PlayStation. I mean, that's a simple thing, right?
I'm an idiot. That's a great thing. That's a great thing.
I'm just picking the low-hanging fruit, buddy. And then I want Xbox to do something with their controller. I love the Xbox controller, don't get me wrong. I still play with the Xbox controller on my
triggers.
PC. I want I want the adaptive triggers, damn it. Like I want them just to be a little bit more adventurous with what they're doing on that. Not like crazy. I don't want something insane like a remote control arm that comes out and feeds me Cheetos as I play. I don't need that. Like I just want them to do something that other people in the industry are already doing. Yeah. Like we've shown this is capable. People are talking this controller up. But the bad part is it's hard to launch a new version of a controller in the middle, well, not even the middle, the beginning of a console lifespan. I mean, 2 years down the road,
and also get people to get the devs to use it. I mean, it's a lot easier when that's the standard that comes with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'd like to
if
see,
it's not the standard, you're kind of screwing yourself.
To add to that, I'd like to see Sony come out with a Pro controller.
Yeah,
that is
paddles on the back.
Yeah, their Pro controller is what I would like to see.
Paddles on the back,
which I guess we kind of saw a little piece of that when we saw the
back button and adapter
button adapter paddle thing with the OLED screen on it. That was really weird and like got attention for about like 3 days, and then I don't know a single soul that bought it.
But, I don't either.
I'd like to see the Pro version of that for sure. I don't know. I mean, I'm content with what I've got right now. Like, if I had to scale like launches of next gen systems from the PlayStation side of stuff, like I'm cool with it. I mean, I think obviously it crashed here and there, but that comes with whole COVID and all the crazy stuff going on with that, and it's just difficult at launch. But I mean, other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. Like, there's no, you'd buy a system like 6 or 7 years ago. And by now, like your controller or the stick or something, you'd be seeing like wear on the plastic or something, or like you'd hear a creak when you pick it up and move it. Like that, there's nothing. I mean, everything's super solidly built, and it runs like it's supposed to. So at least now. So I mean, I don't really have any gripes.
I think my big thing for this year is I like you were saying, it'd be nice for some of these people to be able to go back to work, go back to their office, because that's where they're going to be most productive, right? And a lot of them have adapted to some extent, but it's also hard to be creative when you've been staring at the same four walls for 8 months, and you don't have other people to bounce these ideas off outside of a choppy ass Zoom meeting. Like, just some of these things don't work nearly as well. And
no, they don't.
I'm not like saying it in an entitled way, but I'd like for games to get back to a point where we are getting more regular big releases and we aren't seeing as many giant delays over and over and over. And granted, again, that's not on the developers. It was just that last year was absolutely fucked. Went to hell in a handbasket real fast, but it's like I'd love to get back to somewhat normal, right? And I'm sure they would too. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people like most of these devs are going stir crazy as well, and so just getting back to some sense of normalcy would be fantastic. And then minor changes and things here and there and updates and improving upon things, and maybe Cyberpunk being somewhat fixed. And there's nothing crazy I'm looking for in this year. I just want to make it through another year, damn it.
Yeah. Like I think to add to this and kind of close it out, I'd also like to see the gaming community chill out.
Oh, that'd be nice. It's not going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen because of everything else going on. Everyone gets all riled up. But the nonsensical hyping of things and then to the point where it can meet no level. And I'm not talking Cyberpunk, because that was just a mess where it shouldn't have came out, right? Like that was just poor business decision, and just it was bad. But there's tons of other games that came out that were hyped up, and then people poo-pooed on because they just they hyped it up to the point where it couldn't live to any of its hype. There was a lot of other stuff too that would happen where we obviously had, I don't know, we just the throwing politics into everything, just so exhausting. Especially into a media and an art to which it's supposed to take you away from it. And I understand with art and expression, yes, we can make statements, and we can make life statements like through movies and books and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think that if it was done in a way that wasn't so extreme, then I think it would get its point across a lot better, and you would not have extreme reaction. Because the only way to react to, most people, the only way they react to, extreme messages is to be extreme themselves. And so I think it just created a world that, it created a world to which what we got a couple of days ago or yesterday. I can't believe it was yesterday. Jesus.
Right.
You know, like, I mean, that is because of just the essence of extreme.
Yeah.
And like, that's,
I mean, everything has an extreme on everything you could ever imagine has some sort of extreme. And 90% of the time, the extreme is never good.
No. So I mean, that's definitely my hope for that, because I think the majority of people gaming do not want that.
Right.
And I mean, that's what I hope for. So world peace and all that shit.
Right. Yeah. World peace would be great, but I'd take But yeah, no, I agree. I think
it just got out of hand.
I was really hoping for a while that like some of this console war bullshit was going to die down. It hasn't died down.
No,
like anytime PlayStation posts anything, the first comment is Xbox is better. If Xbox posts something, somebody gets on there and PlayStation's better. Like,
oh my god! And then watch, Xbox is going to start like putting out some of these Xbox originals and other stuff.
Oh yeah.
People are like, look, they've released blah 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 amount of games and so much better. And I just sit there and I'm like,
but why?
I don't even give a shit.
Right.
Just play the damn game.
Just fucking play the game.
Play the damn game.
Pick it up, find a game you like, play the game.
Put your headphones on, play the damn game.
Yeah.
Oh my
I agree.
God.
I don't know. People
are at each other's
value
throats because there's nothing else to do.
People put too much value in stupid shit.
Yes.
I mean,
that's blunt. I would say absolutely. And it's just like when people get bored, instead of being constructive, they decide, I'm just going to go after shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I don't know. It's weird, but as a person, like, that's the last thing I want to do, because then you're just putting yourself in a situation that sucks and a world that sucks even more, rather than just being like, I'm going to play a game. And I'm going to go play that other game, and that game sounds cool. But instead of shit posting on Twitter every week, regardless of what console you main, I mean, I've seen it's fucking wild, dude. I've seen people shit post like Dreamcast stuff. It knows no bounds.
Many years ago.
It knows no bounds. I'm seeing Stadia shit posting, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
What's going on here? I haven't seen the Amazon one, which is what's the name of that service? Ruby? Is that what it was? Or
Rupee? Fuck, I don't even remember.
Can you look that up just so we know
while
I close this out? All right, guys. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Diggity Podcast. Get some good gaming news all on our Instagram as well as on our Twitter. And just get stupid tweets as well, because that's what Twitter's for.
Luna.
Absolutely. Lumen?
Luna.
Boy, has that even launched?
I don't think so.
I've heard absolutely nothing about it, so I just figured, maybe it hasn't launched. You can find me on PlayStation. My PSN is Maple Jeff.
Mine is Luscious Brody.
And
And I'm also on
Nintendo
Xbox
Switch, baby.
Luscious Brody. I don't have my Switch code. I have no clue what my friend code is.
Guys,
Let me just rattle that off.
Yeah, your 16-digit friend code. You don't have that on your head, dude. Come on. And guys, if you want to leave us a review, it helps out a ton. Thank you to those who have left a review. Gets us noticed on the different podcast platforms. Helps us out a lot, and also lets us know what we can do better on the show. So we can be better at this each and every single week, and be better at it when we come back from a 2-week break like we did. It was a rough go, man, here and there. So,
yeah, we made it.
Until next time, guys, we will see you later. Just be nice to each other, and maybe we can get by everything, and just focus on what's important.